Let me ask you my question to you first, because I only have one. So, how are you feeling right now about NFTs and the market?
I feel like all the buzz, like everything died down. Maybe the excitement of our group died down. Everything, the prices came down. It's almost like at that stage where I feel like nothing really is going on. That excitement really hit that peak and then it just fucking dropped. I'm only saying this from what I'm seeing inside the group because I'm not actively on Twitter and Discord really seeing what's happening in the real world. I'm getting my information from you guys and the energy that I'm picking up from the group.
So, everything you just said has to do with emotion and feeling, right? And so, when those kind of emotions that you just said, according to what I've been telling you, what usually does that equate to?
It means that it's probably the time to buy, right? Because
Exactly.
this is the
Because
time to go bullish.
the flip side of it was what the opposite of everything you just said
Correct.
was
I'm
hype.
excited.
Every
Hype. Do you see the same? Do you feel the same?
Yeah, but so correct. And recognizing and trading these things has a lot to do with that psychological part of it. The way you could have answered is, well, there's this many projects. There were this many projects. The projects that I'm watching are doing this. That's like the actual, let's call it fundamental part of it. But then there's the market psychology part of it, where I mean, if you can understand one or the other, that it's fine.
So, with that being said, how do you take the feelings and turn it into money? So, what should we be doing in the fund?
So now you look at the projects that are still standing and the ones that have held their value relative to all the other ones, even if they are going down.
Okay.
So if a project was at 50 ETH and there was another project at 20 ETH, say at the highs of all this shit going on, right? And now that project that was at 50 ETH is now probably trading at maybe 30 ETH, say. But that project that was at, what did I say, 20 ETH at the highs
Mm-hmm.
is now at like a point 0.1 floor. That project's dead. The other project just went from 50 to 30 because the whole market took it down. But
Right.
it's probably it's displaying good relative strength compared to all the other ones. So if you can find those and then dig into those and see what those are doing, because usually what happens also with people is their psychology gets damaged. So they stop all the things they were doing and it all coincides with the same time. So that 2 years from now or 3 years from now, when the market is on the high, the normal person is like, oh, I was buying everything, but then it all crashed and I stopped buying it all. If I had just kept buying it all, you know how it's the
Not,
same
not,
story.
not even going to lie. I thought about stop buying,
Yeah.
100%, because I'm scared like it's just going to go to zero.
The exact opposite feeling that you had at the peak.
Correct. What is an NFT wallet?
An NFT wallet is no different than a crypto wallet. It's kind of just where everything is stored.
What is the wallet? What are the wallets that we use?
We use hot wallets like MetaMask, which is a popular one for Ethereum. We use Phantom for Solana. We use Ledger for offline storage. Those are the ones we use.
What? And that takes me to my last question, which is what is a ledger? Like my brother Anthony talks about, like actually having physical stuff with him when he travels.
Hmm. Hot wallet and cold wallets are just wallets that exist online versus wallets that you can actually unplug from your computer and put in your drawer.
So the one that you could unplug from your computer and put in your drawer, that's a hot or cold?
Cold, because once it's unplugged from your computer and it's sitting in my drawer, no matter what kind of hack happens, no one can ever take that wallet or reach that wallet unless I reconnect it back
So hot
into
ledgers could be
hot
hacked.
wallet.
Hot.
Ledger is a brand name.
All right,
Ledger's
got
a brand. That's like saying Gucci or Nike.
you. Okay, got you. So a hot wallet can be hacked. A cold
All of
wallet.
them can all be hacked. The cold wallet can't be hacked while it's not plugged in.
So why should people feel safe? I mean, that is, I'm never really worried about my bank being hacked. People have a lot of money in these wallets, and you're saying they can be
Well,
hacked.
your bank can be hacked. They've just been around for so long to have however many cybersecurity experts safeguard against that. But if you remember when banks started, like when Cowboys and Indians existed, which is the world we're in now in crypto, the early days, banks got stuck up by gunpoint and people's money got taken all the time. So that's no different than a hack that's happening today. And then at some point, the government stepped in and insured these banks to give people more trust. Because if you were just in some town in Mississippi that had one bank and somebody came and took all the money, your money was gone. And if that bank was like a private institution or a company, right? If they went out of business, then you were just screwed. So people lost faith in banks and they just hid money in their mattress and in their house. And then that could get robbed, just like a ledger could get robbed. If somebody wants to come to your house and steal your ledger, it's gone. But then the federal government stepped in and they insured, right, checking accounts, which you see on all the bank teller windows when you go to the bank. FDIC insured up to $250,000, meaning that if your Bank of America or a Chase account did get hacked, the government would give you $250,000 back per account, which is why people with a lot of money spread out their money amongst banks if you're just keeping it in a checking account, because you're only insured up to $250,000.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, somebody can literally come up to me at gunpoint, say, "Take out your phone," right, and
Mm-hmm.
say, "Transfer me 20,000 from your bank account to my account."
To
Now,
their what account?
to their bank account, let's just say, okay?
Yeah.
Follow me here. That would get flagged. The bank would call me. What's going on? Now, I can get stuck up and somebody could go to your MetaMask wallet, send it to mine. Nothing's getting flagged.
Yeah, that's because that was another fail-safe in between that kind of stuff happening.
So
At
I mean
some point, that
that's
would have
pretty
worked.
scary though, because I have money in my Meta and somebody could just come
All
up to me.
scary. It's all scary. Just like robbing a bank or getting stuck up in general is scary. There's
Well,
right.
how are you going to have mass adoption until that's solved? Like, what comes first?
It all is happening. All these things are being built. All the infrastructure around all this stuff is being built. And that's why some people favor regulation, which is against Web3, but regulation prevents the small guy from getting screwed, either by fraud or getting robbed or getting hacked. So that's what happens. So there's a trade-off, right? So which dance do you want to play? Do you want to play the part of people regulating all your stuff, but you're safe, or that's what custody is. You have custody of all your stuff, which means you're responsible for it. And if you lose it, tough luck.
I
That's the
think that
trade.
the masses right now, people are scared always, and
Definitely.
they like safety.
100%. I actually hate going into things that I don't understand. I'm fine losing money and taking risk. Even if something gets stolen, I'm fine with it because I understand that somebody stole it. I hate going into projects and losing money if I can't exactly or 100% explain how the money was lost. That freaks me out. So, like with all these DeFi protocols, the reason I have small amounts of money in a bunch of them is I'm testing them, is because, like, I couldn't even explain with 100% accuracy how they work. So that if I lost some money and somebody was like, "How did it work?" and I couldn't tell them, I don't like that.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's a big one. The protection, the safety is not there yet.
It is not. You can get as safe as you want on your own, which is why some people go as far as storing their assets offline, which is cold storage, and basically like writing down their seed phrase. You understand what the seed phrase is, right? And say breaking that even into different parts. So like let's say you had $100 million of assets. That's probably a lot that you don't want to even gamble with, right? So you're going to say, I'm actually going to only write down my seed phrase, like literally on a piece of paper. And not only that, I'm not even going to write down the whole thing. I'm going to write it down in 4 different parts. And then I'm going to take each part and put it in a safety deposit box in a different bank, not even like 4 chases, like 4 different banks in different states across the United States. And the only way that those assets can be recovered if somebody took all those pieces of paper from those safety deposit box, put them together, and then tried to access it.
Makes sense though. I don't have any other questions for today.
So I'll just talk about a couple things then. So we were talking about moonbirds, and we have been for every podcast so far. So like the price of moonbirds has just recently got dipped pretty hard. They've gone from like a 22 floor a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, to like even 14 floor today, right? So that's like a 33% reduction in value because of their move to CC0, which basically goes against the roadmap that they put out, and it gives ownership of the project to people, like the copyright and trademark rights to the owners of the NFT,
Hmm.
not the Moonbird project themselves. So CC0 is something that your brother Anthony pointed out to me that was like a hot topic this past week because of it, and the Moonbirds community like didn't take kind to it.
What is CC0?
Stands for like copyright something and then the letter zero, meaning like there is no copyright. It's just basically you can do whatever you want with it. So for instance, like CryptoPunks, one of the first ones, if you wanted to take a CryptoPunk and you wanted to start a vodka called Punk Vodka, and you wanted to put your punk that you owned on the label, you couldn't because Larva Lab owned the IP for CryptoPunks, right? So even though you own that NFT, you still couldn't do everything you wanted with it because just like a company, they didn't want their reputation to be tarnished by somebody who wanted to go start a weed label and put punk weed on it, and then weed was like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So this CC0 does away with all of that. It's like you can do whatever you want with your Moonbird, and they're taking that risk. And Kevin Rose on Twitter Spaces basically said there's a project called Nouns that I think did this first, but he thinks that giving people the creative freedom to do whatever they want with their birds on their own is ultimately going to reflect better and bring more awareness to moonbirds. And he thinks longer term it's going to be a positive, not a negative. But
I think it is a positive, but why did the community respond like it's not? That they have.
the guy who has the number one rare trait moonbird was in the middle of negotiating a licensing agreement with like a major corporation and getting a decent amount of money, and I don't know the numbers. And then when CC0 came out, they were like, "Cool, we don't need you anymore. We could just use your punk. Doesn't even matter."
Oh, wait, hold on. And whoa, don't you have to own it?
I don't know.
To,
I don't know the
wait, that doesn't make any sense.
um. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of it. Well, basically, they were like, the answer to your question is why people aren't liking it is because of that deal fell through and they were like, we don't need you anymore, right? So you can understand that one.
Okay, yeah, but based on what you were telling me, that doesn't make any sense. I thought it was just giving the NFT owner the right to do anything they want, not somebody else could just go and use it. That and you get nothing on it. That doesn't make any sense.
CC0 is the no copyright reserved option in the Creative Commons toolkit. It effectively means relinquishing all copyright and similar rights that you hold in a work and dedicating those rights to the public domain.
And who's coming out with this? What who?
The project leaders, Kevin Rose. And so people are pissed because they're like, your roadmap
Oh,
says
this is okay. So this is an individual.
no, it's
This is
a team.
this is individual projects. They're it's not blanket across the board for NFTs. This is what Kevin Rose has decided for this.
For Moonbirds.
I mean, and what's his explanation?
He thinks that it's going to give people more creative freedom over Moonbirds, which ultimately is going to bring more exposure to the project and be a net positive for it longer term. He also
And
thinks that the entire NFT ecosystem or portion of it may move to that CC0 framework, and if they do, Nouns and Moonbirds would be the two pioneers of that and be kind of known for that and benefit from that.
he fucked a Moonbird owner by rolling something like this out
Well, it
because of
depends
how they
whose
did it.
eyes you're looking at. That Moonbird owner feels that way. So depends how you look at it. Some people cheer it on. They're like, yeah, long term. He's calling it a big bet. He said, I don't know if it's going to play out. He's like, but we're making this big bet. And he was basically like, I mean, look, here's the one good thing, and here's the reason I like the project. Now, people can make decisions that go right or go wrong, just like corporations do, right? But how many projects are out there doing nothing? That's my whole point. And their floors are now at point one. At least Moonbirds, this is why I trusted them. They're doing something, right? They're actively involved. He's making a big bet that might tank the project to zero, but they're proactive. Like that's what I was believing in. It's not just gonna it's not just somebody who offered 10,000 of these things, offered them out, and was like, cool. And now let's just sit here and wait forever for no reason, right?